1, 2.
A little lower.
Check 1, check 2. Check 1, check 2.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. How's everyone doing tonight? That's where we clap. Thank you. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Tommy Moriello, area manager for Metro New York for the Glen Rothes and Wyoming Whiskey. And that's a nice little feedback. Good. So you are on set for Casks and Classics. Welcome to the first round of the Edrington Roadshow for you guys. Casks and Classics is all about celebrating creativity. So with the Glen Rothes, we're trying to focus on knowledge, courage, community, and opportunities. And we want to showcase professions that have gone through similar situations as the brand. Tonight, we're going to be focusing on adversity. Obviously, with the Glen Rothes, if you guys have been educated on it, you know the Glen Rothes has gone through a ton of adversity, as has the stand-up comedy community in New York. So we're going to run through a history of New York with two highly talented comedians. We have Mr. Giannis Pappas, and we have Mr. Paul Verzi. Welcome, Giannis. Welcome, Paul.
What's up, buddy? Yeah. How you guys doing? Nice to be here. This is like a little intimate meeting. I like this.
So Giannis and Paul both are born and raised in New York.
Well, you can tell by the we got the chains out. Yeah, we don't look like we're from Wisconsin.
And I thought it was a perfect way to celebrate today with three men being on stage to celebrate International Women's Day. So,
today's Women's Day. Congratulations, ladies.
It's a beautiful thing.
And by ladies, I mean the two right there. Three of them for you. Yeah.
But yeah, it's, as I was saying before you guys came on, it's stand-up comedy is amazing. I love it. Love coming here. The stand has always been so good to all of our brands here. And you guys are doing God's work and making people laugh, and everyone needs a reason to laugh, right?
Yeah.
And I love how they all started out, like with the vaudeville shows. I'm a Coney Island guy, grew up in Bay Ridge, love going to Coney Island. So you have the old school style shows out there, Strongman. But in the 20s, that's where stand-up comedy started like moving up in the world, right? The Palace Theater was the first person to introduce someone to change acts instead of doing like the awkward signs. And they started like making fun of a few people. And that was like kind of how the shtick came up. But right there is when 1927, the Great Depression happens, right? And film starts in that same year, and people stray away from the theaters and they start going into movie theaters. So to see film, it was cheaper. And stand-up comedians or anyone in hospitality and theater had to go to radio. So kind of similar to the situations that we found ourselves in the last 2 years, right? And you guys adapted perfectly. Like Paul, you started. How much has your following grown in the last?
Well, for me, when I was telling you, like the one thing that I didn't really focus on before pandemic was an online presence, a digital presence more, because I was so focused on getting better at stand-up. Stand-up was my love. I got in this business to do stand-up, not to be a radio host, right? So everybody was focused on that. And I'm like, but the world was adapting and people wanted to watch that more. And I realized, so I was like, all right, well, you know what? I'm up here in Westchester. I got a garage. I got little rooms off my garage. Fuck it. Let's make a studio.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you live in Westchester too. Yeah.
Four-car garage. A little space.
Yeah, I'm in Westchester. I'm doing okay. All right. Fuck it. I'm gonna brag. I'm in Westchester. This place is a shithole. Fuck this city. I'm fucking never driving the I'm not coming. It's over down here. It's over. Subways, it's crime ridden. Fuck everybody. I just get out of here and I go where people have money. But no, that's actually true. But anyway, like I'm not even joking. I just get in the car and I just get the further away I get. I'll never be on a fucking subway in this filthy city again. I promise you. And neither will my children. But that being said, yeah, fuck de Blasio. You understand? He fucking owes us. I'm kidding. This just turned into a rant, a political rant. No, so I had a little room off of my garage, and I was like, let me make it a studio. I'm going to make it a podcast studio. So I did that, built it, got my podcast, The Verzi Effect, visible on YouTube, built the YouTube channel, put more clips on a YouTube channel, more of the Zoom podcast on a YouTube channel, and people saw my special which I did in 2018. People were like, "Oh, this is one of the best specials I've seen in 2020." I'm like, "Yeah, it was done years ago, but people didn't see it." So then I just adapted that way, and it changed everything because you had to do it digitally. As internet is a huge thing. You had to combine both, and I learned that.
And you turned an adverse situation into an opportunity. And you were doing the same thing. You started traveling a little bit.
He was doing it before. He was doing it before almost anybody, and was saying it, and it was like. And he was putting clips out there. Fuck that. His Maurice clips that he used to fuck. That was like 10 years prior, right?
Yeah. No, the internet has taken over. It's changed everything, And it's like that old expression, only the strong survive, isn't really accurate. It's like the adage, but it's really like that means those who adapt to change the best survive. So it's a completely new environment for us. And now it's completely culminated, but it has been approaching for a long time. And I think COVID was what made it finally hit its like complete fruition. It came to complete fruition where comics realized, like, if I don't have an online presence, if I don't have a podcast, if I'm not, putting content on my Instagram page every day, then I don't exist. It's like, think about Donald Trump. He was like existed and now he doesn't because they took away his Twitter accounts. No. So if you're not online, then you just don't exist. Also, did you get all this from West Elm? I feel like I'm in their waiting room or something.
Will Castillo, he would know that answer, right? One little
nice.
West Elm action.
This
they
nice
put it all
design.
together.
Yeah.
I get this scene.
Shout out to New Ground Promotions putting together the entire set tonight. Thank you very much.
Nice.
But that's actually a good point because sorry, I don't want to fuck his clap up. Go ahead. But that's a good, because if we get on stage in front of 500 people or 1,000 people and kill, that's all and it just stays there. But if you get clips of that and you get bits on that, and now all of a sudden everybody, even internationally, sees it, then it's a total game changer.
It's a complete paradigm shift that now is accepted. It's the Tonight Show means nothing. Like, I might even if they called me, I'd be like, I don't want to do it. Like, and that sounds like I'm exaggerating, but it's the truth. I mean, all it is good for is a tape on the internet.
And it used to be that was the goal of stand-up comedians in New York. And then Carson moves to LA, and it's like, what do we do? And if you're a stand-up comedian in New York, that avenue was taken away. The clubs are still there.
Yeah, if you read why Conan O'Brien stopped doing the show, he stopped doing the show because it had like 100,000 people. All of the stuff that he was doing were the highlights of it on the internet, and he was just like, why am I doing this? The studio, I might as well just. And now he's doing a podcast. So it's like, it's what happened.
The TV numbers they're low.
Yeah,
they hide what they really are, but you can feel it in the culture. Like, nobody's talking about anything, and when they do talk about something, especially in the comedy sphere, it's because they saw a clip of it online. It's very rare that anyone's tuning into anything.
And it's amazing how fast your brands will build by having that out there and having the content out there and growing it. And again, turning that adverse situation into an opportunity. And for comedians, I think you guys are very intelligent people. I think Sherrod Small says that you have to know things to get comedy, right? To find something funny, you have to know it. And for you guys to write and understand, it takes a lot of knowledge to get up there.
Listen,
intelligence is a strong word.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't say. Yeah. I think we're observant, but my 9-year-old daughter puts math in front of me. I feel it.
Yeah. I think we're resilient like rats. I think that's a better way to, we're survivors.
There's a lot of them in the cities.
And when you come to this club, whoever's on the lineup, that adds to whatever number it is. We're just like rodents that adapt to the environment, and we know how to survive. Because we're used to, from when we start, you got to hustle and find your own shows. Start a show at a bar on an off night, or go to open mics, and then that continues for certain comics who have that sort of grind mentality. It continued from your what you were seeking to do live. Now you do that same thing online.
It takes a lot of courage to go out there, believe in yourself, and keep on doing that and going out there. It's like building a brand. Like the Glenn Rothis, the reason why we're talking about adversity, before the distillery even went up, there was a fire that burned the place down, right? It went through 2 different fires. There was an explosion there. Like, this brand did not want to be with what was happening, but the community around them built them back up, and the passion to create this style of whiskey is what brought them forward. And when you're facing that, you're like, maybe the second fire was a sign. maybe the explosion was a sign, but you persevere and you keep on going through.
You sure it wasn't done for the insurance money?
Yeah. It sounds a little.
It was in the late 1800s, so I didn't know.
All right.
But we'll see. I'll go for a deeper dive on that. I'll get back to you. But no, it's cool, like, because you guys are building your own personal brand, and in this room, what the people in this room are here to do is build multiple brands. So Empire Merchants, the distributor in the room, they build several different brands, and they see every which way. And if it's not for someone that has a certain passion behind it, that wants to do it. And actually, we spoke about passion, right? Like, I wanted a shadow box after I spoke with you last week. Like, you were fired up talking about your podcast and your growth. It takes a special type of passion to get out there.
I think it's like there's, I don't know, you're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. You know, like, we got kids. Like, what's the alternative? Like, you know what I mean? I love doing what I do, but you gotta work, man. You gotta work.
I think it's you gotta accept the climate. You got to accept the change. You got to see the adversity as an opportunity. And there's sort of two classes of comics that have emerged, ones that haven't and ones that have. Ones who've seen the change, because we're perfect examples, because we came up in the old system. Like, the system we came up in doesn't exist anymore, but that's the one we were kind of conditioned for. So it's really us who should be dead, you know, like, but we adapted, you know, and there's still a lot of guys who are still caught in that old mentality, which is completely gone. It's just, it just doesn't exist anymore. And so it shows you how important it is to see adversity as an opportunity or die, really. Yeah.
And it caters to the creative mind, because this room, salespeople, right? They don't have the patience to sit back. So just like you, the stages were taken back.
I fucking love salespeople. Well, you guys are salespeople, right? It's the best. I sold phone, cable, internet, door to door in Queens. I swear to God, I sold when I was 21 years old, and I started doing comedy in the city. I was in sales because I knew I wanted to do comedy. So I dropped out of college and I was knocking doors in Queens selling phone, cable, internet. And it's like, salespeople are my favorite, because it's just like, go get your money.
Yeah.
Go hit your number. Go get your quota. It's the best.
ABC, guys. Yeah. Always be closing.
That's it.
Yeah.
Shout out Glenn Gary.
Yes, shout out. Yeah.
Goes hand in hand with the brand. How about that?
Yeah.
Because salespeople aren't like, you guys aren't normal employees. You people are like, you know, I know you work for a brand or whatever, but you guys are like your own thing. You go out there and you go get it. You're not in a, you know, just sitting there in a cubicle, I guess. You got to go. I mean, I guess some people are, but you can still got to make some sales, though. Like, I always look at it like based on commission. I always look at people like that. No disrespect to other people, but I think when you're going out there and you got to hit a number and you got to sell and you got to go get it, I always feel like those people are there. There's something about those people. Even when you talk to those people about sports, there's passion and somebody that has to go get it. You know what I mean? Instead of somebody that just is like, yeah, I'm getting that salary no matter what. You know, I'm just getting, you know, and then just sit down lazy.
Well, because they work on commission, you know. So
that's what I mean. It's the best.
Yeah, you gotta make it happen.
The revenue has to come in.
Yeah,
and when you're sitting back and we have the off-premise focus on liquor stores, as well as the on-premise that focus on the actual bars. When the bars are taken away and you're a commission-based employee, you got to go out there and do something, and that's where the birth of this came from. We wanted to do something to bring notoriety to our brand. We can't build a brand in the bars. We're trying to build it in the off-premise. You're going off and you're building it on social media, because that's the only thing that's there, and that's where you're striving, and that's why we're doing this in front of a live room on social media for people to see, and that's where you guys strive and you guys crushed it.
Yeah.
So where was you? I mean, obviously you've been doing podcasts for a long time, but your latest establishment is really fun, right? It's really cool, and you're putting a different side into educating people about what's going on in the world. So where did your passion and creativity come from based off of that?
Well, it's necessity is the mother of invention. So that's I'm not going to lie and say it was anything other than that. It's like, oh, this is what you have to do. And it's great. I mean, for comedy, if you embrace what it is now, because when you do comedy on television, I don't know if anyone's been paying attention, but it's very censored. You know, there's an agenda you have to fulfill, and that's what they're marketing. That's the message now of comedy, is like, this has to be on the right side of whatever everything is. And for comedy, that's sort of a comedy killer, because what comedians do is poke bears and try to be contrarian, you know? Yeah. You can't go up there and say like, hey guys, you know, we're against hate. That's not funny. You know, what's funny is going like, hey guys, this is why hate is great. And then people go, uh-oh, and then you have jokes. So the podcasts are really filling that void where you can be funny. You can really try to still make jokes, whereas on TV they want statements right now. And maybe that's because they know that they're becoming, at least in the comedy sphere again, more irrelevant, and so they have to hold on to something, so they try to guilt you into watching or whatever. And maybe that's a marketing ploy, maybe that's all they have left, but that's the zeitgeist now for TV comedy, is like they don't want anything that's not on message, whereas you can, and I think that's why so many people are turning to podcasts, is because they want to hear comedians being irresponsible. That's our job.
It's fun to be irresponsible.
That's our job. I mean, when people go, you're complaining, they go, oh, I'm upset about what a comedian said. It's like, you're upset at me doing my job.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to say a speech. I don't work for a company. There's a social contract you sign, when you come into a comedy club. It's like, I'm here to hear some offensive stuff. I may not like everything I hear. And it's the same thing that has carried over to podcasts now. It's like, you don't have to tune in, but you can. This is a place where you can still come and hear something that may be off, quote unquote, message, or whatever. I've
been coming to the stand for a long time. We met you downstairs when the sink was still going in the opening, I believe, when we had the Brugal thing down there.
Right. I didn't know Steve Renazzisi worked for the company.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
He looks like a comic.
Yeah.
Caught me off guard.
Sorry about that.
Loved it. But yeah, I was going to say, I've never met an HR department in a comedy club. It's
right.
a little different, but it's when you look at the landscape of building brands as well, when you stay vanilla, you don't stand out. When you try to go out and you do something different, that's what makes you stand out, and that creative edge of allowing you to do what you believe in and talk freely and be like, you know what, I find this funny, so I'm going to say it. It's the same with building a brand. Like if you could talk about distillation all you want, sugar plus yeast equals alcohol. It's very simple, right? A lot of people do it.
Yeah.
I say there's no such thing as bad whiskey. There's some whiskey that's just much better than others because
I've had some bad whiskey, dude. I've had some shitty whiskey before.
All whiskey will serve its purpose, though, if you're trying to get to where you need to be.
Right.
But with that, the whiskeys that stand out are the people that do it right. Like we have pizza coming out, right? New York, true and true. That's why I wanted to serve pizza alongside with the whiskey. But there's no such thing as bad pizza. If you do 15 sets of the stand tonight, right, and you're tired and you're exhausted, Domino's is going to taste just like the Forest. It's the touche.
I mean, the analogy's getting a little ridiculous.
It's filling,
I know what you're saying, but the Forest and Domino's.
Just don't use the pizza.
The Forest new guy, not old man.
Right. Even still, Domino's. I mean, pizzas. You're right. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Unless you put pineapple on it, and that's just should go to jail if you do that.
Way too many vowels on my last name, not pineapple on my pizza. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But no, it's what I'm saying is that the brands that stick out, that do it the right way, that do it with passion, that do it with creativity, are the ones that people are going to go to. And I think that's the same with comedians. People are going to be drawn to the comedians that might be a little controversial. But if we say something that might be a little inappropriate at work, I got to say I'm joking. Your entire job is a joke. You don't got to say you're joking. You should know that it's a joke.
Well, that's what our job is to do. Like, nobody wants to. I don't think somebody wants to pay to see a comedy show and just hear like, just right down the middle, easy. You know what I mean? You want to, the people that I would want to see are people that, let's see what their perspective is. Cause I know it's going to be not the norm, and it's going to be hilarious, and it's going to be maybe even dangerous and something that they could get in trouble for, but that's the point of it. And I think what Giannis was saying is if you had somebody like me, Giannis, and a few other comedian friends on a podcast, you know what you're going to get. You're just going to get it. Where in stand-up, some people are backing off because of things have tightened up a little bit.
No. And what you're saying, is
bringing meatballs out.
Yeah.
Jesus. There goes this podcast. Yeah, thanks, guys. It was nice seeing you. Enjoy the pizza and the meatballs. Jesus Christ, I'm going to compete with meatballs, whiskey, and pizza. What are they going to get massage girls in here afterward? Jesus Christ.
That's at 6:45.
Holy shit. I smell the sauce. I stopped caring. You guys enjoy the rest of the show. I'm going to get a couple of balls. Jesus. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think the evidence for that is in how popular podcasts have gotten. Is that people want to hear, some people be passionate about their craft, and that's where you can do it is on podcasts. You can do it live and you can do it on podcasts. And so that's why they're so big. And they are big. They've gotten really big. I mean, you know, Joe Rogan's deal is a deal that only Seinfeld used to get for a television show. He's getting TV money now, and that's a podcast. Nobody in TV is making that money anymore, you know? And so that kind of symbolized the shift when that deal hit and people read about it. But before that, Bill Simmons got 100 million. You know, the Call Me Daddy girls just got 60. I mean, that used to be TV money. Yeah, you can't make that money on TV anymore. And it's because people are hungry for that type of content where it's authentic. It feels authentic and it feels like it's true to what the genre is. Whereas what they're seeing on TV seems antiquated. You know, it's sort of like when you watch a Roseanne set or even like a Seinfeld, whatever, an old TV set on Carson. You know, at the time, if you watched it at the time, you're like, this is amazing. But then after cable came and sort of broke that wall a little bit, people started seeing Def Comedy Jam and even Comedy Central. You go back and you watch those old sets and you're like, that seemed contrived, because it was, but we were conditioned to it. So we thought it was like the edgy thing at the time. Now the internet has done that to cable, where it's like, it's broken down even another wall and made it, and comedians feel even more genuine because we're not even doing bits. We're riffing, we're being ourselves. And so now people are getting conditioned to that. And it right now, I think, is actually the purest form of comedy for comedians. And it's actually, ironically, the best time to be a comedian because of if you want to
revenue for
and also different stream, but also just to do comedy. You there's no boss, like you said.
Yeah.
Like if I was doing a show even on an edgy network, I still have HR. I still have to work within some confines. Whereas on your own podcast, you can say anything. Anything can happen. I have no boss. I can't be fired. And cancel culture is a thing, and it makes comedy funner. And it's that same thing about adversity bringing out the best or creating opportunity. It makes comedy fun again when you know you could get in trouble for something. That's, you know, I mean,
that's why we do it.
That's why we do it.
That's why we do it.
Class clowns weren't class clowns because they said the right thing at the right time, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, so this is the best time to be a comedian, even though it's the hardest time to be a comedian because they're looking to take away.
But that makes the better ones go.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah.
And you share a podcast with the uncancelable Bill Burr.
I do two podcasts. I do one myself. I co-host one with Bill Burr, and we just have fun. And it's just we're ourselves, and we just say what we want to say, and that and it makes you actually a better stand-up. Because when, like what Giannis was saying, when you could just be free and say what you want to say, and you're doing that on a podcast, then when you're on stage, you don't want to feel contrived or you want to just say, fuck what I'm going to say. I'm just going to go out and say what I feel. So podcasts, there's no doubt about it. And this was way before pandemic, pre-pandemic. I remember when I first started doing the Verzi Effect podcast, Bill Burr actually said to me, he goes, watch how much better your stand-up gets. And it was just because you're just talking and you're working that muscle. Then you put friends next to you, and now you're really going. Then when you go on stage, you don't want to just get up and say something that's safe or easy, or, you know, you want to just go up and just be yourself. And I think that the digital world has really helped that for sure.
And I think the sense of community inside of your guys' community with comics, it's like, follow that. If you get off the stage and you just kill it, it's very difficult to go on top of somebody, right? And like, oh wow, like they just crushed it. You got to raise your game up to ensure that you get laughs after someone just crushed it on stage.
Well, Giannis said something before, which is true. It's like Giannis and I came up in a time where you had to be doing stand-up for 15 years before Comedy Central gave you a half hour. You had to be doing it for over a decade. Now, and we were fighting that and going through that, and then the change came. Now you can have somebody that has a TikTok channel blow up, and they're cooking and laughing and singing, and they're filling up comedy clubs. So I think that the podcast helps us. I think we have the advantage because, like he said earlier, we adapted to that, and we do our craft.
You know what it is really, and it's happened in all fields. I'm sure it's your field too. Decentralization is over. Everything like used to be a cruise ship, and now people are in speedboats. And sometimes those speedboats become like diamond-studded speedboats. You know, like if you look at the Rogan example, but this is the era of the small brand. Like that's what people are looking for. They want to discover something and become a fan of something. And that's why like fame is over.
Yeah.
Like there's no consolidated fame. There's like everyone's a band and everyone has their following. And that's what the new norm is.
Yeah, like that's a good point. Like we're in a time in entertainment now, in comedy, where there are people that are selling out Madison Square Garden that you guys don't know.
Yeah.
It used to be if that person sold out Madison Square Garden, like Andrew Dice Clay back in the day, he sold out the Garden. Everybody knew who Andrew Dice Clay was,
Unless you went to church. Yeah.
Well, even those people, they hated him, but they knew him.
Yeah, they knew he was.
Now you can get people that just have a big podcast or a big stand-up following, but not everybody knows because they're like famous in that realm, right? In like little pockets, like you said, it's true.
Yeah, it shows the benefits of being true to your brand. And as a brand yourself, as a stand-up comedian, similar to Glenn Rothis, we haven't been doing this. Glenn Rothis is not good because we've been doing it for a long time. It's good because they've been doing it for a long time. You know, did I miss that word up?
I got confused by that, to be honest with you.
Probably should. So that's the show, guys. And, Glenn Rothis isn't good because it's old. Excuse me. It's good because it stayed good.
Right.
And they stayed true to it. And it's staying true to its creativity and its basis behind it. And we're going to show you who we are. We're not going to try to be somebody else. This is who the Glenn Rothis is. And that's why we want to link up with professions such as stand-up comedians, with haberdashers, with people that go out and they specialize in creative watches and antique watches for a living, you know, because authenticity is key. And smaller brands are 1,000% authentic. And once you guys are on your podcast and on stage, that authenticity drives through.
Yeah, and I think you have to think outside the box in marketing too. I think accepting that milieu that like people are fans in smaller numbers now and everything's decentralized. You want to kind of attach yourself to somebody who has a podcast or something or a band or something like that and win over their fans. Let your brand be affiliated with what they do. You know, it doesn't seem like there's that big reach anymore. You know, like it even almost turns people off when something's too big. It's like they want to, there's that discovery factor. People want to be a part of it, a part of the community of it.
It's that true hipster culture, right?
It really
has.
has.
You haven't heard about this band. They're too cool.
That's why everybody has their show on one of the streaming services. And there's all those different things. People discover something and they like it. It's, you know, movies are over, big star, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how did you guys discover comedy? You guys have a passion and love for comedy. Where did it stem from for you guys?
It comes from not being good at other stuff. Truly. Like it's like not even being good at listening, not being good at anything really, except making people laugh. Like I just always made people laugh. I was the class clown. It was like the only thing I could do. And so I found out I could turn it into a profession. And I was like, all right, if I don't do that, I don't know what I'm going to do. So
yeah,
could have been sales too. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of class clowns in this room.
Probably not.
I would definitely be doing sales if I was. I think for me, it was instability at home. You know, I came from my parents had like a brutal fucking divorce in the early 80s. I was 5. I was moving around a lot, but I had like a personality where people would like me telling stories. And then I saw Eddie Murphy Raw and it was a wrap. That was it. Eddie Murphy Raw. My dad took me to see it in 1987. My grandmother and mother said, you cannot take him to that. He took me. And I was just like, that's it, man. That was it. So
that's a great first introduction.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I think you said storytelling. I think our industry is all about storytelling. We're trying to deliver and tell our brand story to people. Yeah. And it's more than a sales pitch, right? It's actual storytelling. And I don't think that comedians anymore are doing the pitch. Like you said, it's a script. You have to get your point across if you're on TV. But if you're on a podcast, you could say exactly what it is that you want.
Yeah. And a lot of the brands, like, look, comedians on podcasts make a lot of money. A lot of people don't know that. But like they're making a lot of money and they're making a lot of money with ads and the advertisers, the brands actually want you to incorporate their brand into your voice. They prefer that. They don't want you to read the copy and just have the name be heard of the brand. They want you to have fun with the ad, make fun of it even like that. You know, they want you to continue the show, not stop the show, you know, and incorporate the brand into what you do to win over the fans that love what you do. You know,
I learned that the hard way with Lopez. But yeah, he destroyed me when we were trying to do something with them. We were doing the cask outside. You could have every comedian was going to have their own barrel aged cocktail.
Yeah,
he was like, so if I tell my fans that I like it, you know, they're going to know that it's not real. So I'm going to like mess with you a little bit. And he destroyed me.
It was his Legion of Skanks fans.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the people that work at your company don't look like they're Legion of Skanks fans.
He was on the show twice.
You really just are you a self-harmer? Do you cut yourself?
talk about people that know what they believe in and go what they got to do.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a show. Every Monday night at the Stand. That's a beautiful thing. But I remember my first stand-up comedy that I remember was the skit Epi Epiment, right?
Which one is it?
Epi Epiment. It was a comedy that had all these different things, and he had this one shtick that was Epi Epiment. He's from New York. He's a New York guy. I can't.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
I have it written. I have it written down somewhere. He had another thing. He was a boxer, and he would yell out Jeff because he got hit in the head too many times.
Oh, you're talking about what's his
from
name?
Long Island.
No, yeah, he used to open for Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah,
He was
Yes.
a lawyer too.
Yeah.
What was his name? Oh my God, dude.
I have it written down. There's way
Yeah.
too many sheets of paper in here that I thought would
And
be successful.
he did the football players, and he put the balloons in his thing.
Yeah. So that was my introduction to stand-up comedy. So yours was obviously Eddie Murphy. So that's a big one.
Well, you know what? I saw him open for Dangerfield at. I'm pretty sure he opened for Dangerfield. My dad also took me to Radio City to see Dangerfield in '86, and I was like sleeping by the end of it. But he came out. Bob Nelson.
Bob Nelson.
Nelson,
That was
yes.
going to kill me. It was somewhere in there.
He's in Long Island, I think.
Yeah, he was like a
still doing
lawyer
it.
in Long Island.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
He's still doing comedy.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were. I remember seeing him up at the Catskills and Kutcher's as well, and his jokes were not going over well with the clientele out there.
In the Catskills?
Yeah.
How old are you,
It
dude?
was-
300?
Yes.
I mean,
35.
Catskills.
35.
Yeah.
Kutcher's in the
Jesus
Catskills.
Christ. How old were you? When did you see a comedy show in the Catskills?
I was
Yeah.
probably the same, like you. I was a baby. I was
Yeah.
12
That was
years
like
old.
Jackie
I was 11
Mason
years
days.
old.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I thought that
My
ended
first
like
beginning,
19.
I was the baby, so I was just taking
Yeah, you
everywhere.
fucking see Charlie Chaplin's first picture? What the fuck?
That was our first episode of Casks and Classics, actually. But what was your first introduction to stand-up? What was the first stand-up that you remember?
Yeah, my first was Eddie Murphy, like
Yeah.
most people, because it was in the movie theaters. So at that time,
And it was only him. at
yeah,
that,
it was
like,
him, and
it was
like that was my
like-
first introduction to what stand-up was, And there was no way to know about stand-up unless you went live and saw it. Like you would see, and I guess it was like those 5-minute sets on late night television. But like for example, I didn't even know when I was coming up that Robin Williams was a stand-up. I thought he was an actor.
Yeah.
I didn't know he started as a stand-up. I didn't know. If you want to go back to your day, I didn't know Jackie Gleason was a stand-up. He started
The fake Rodney Dangerfield.
To
My
your
bad.
day.
That's fantastic.
because stand-up just wasn't on television. It wasn't anywhere you could see it besides live. So unless, I don't know, you were old enough to go to a nightclub or whatever.
And that was another way
Yeah.
that stand-up comedy faced adversity when HBO started doing specials, right? Like everyone, like Comedy Central was out, HBO specials were out. I could watch comedy on TV. Why do I have to go and pay money and go to a club, right?
Yeah.
And it's wild how some people became successful, and then the people that are trying to go to where they wanted to be, like, oh, well, they made it big. What do I got to do? How do I get a special, right?
Yeah.
And again, just like going back to that adversity road, you guys always seem to come on back. It's so cool. And again, we had Mr. Joe DeRosa in the house as well, talking about
Hey, what's up,
people
Joe?
that do different things for
I mean,
comedians.
nobody's adapted better than him. He got out of the business and opened a sandwich shop. That's what you got to do. I'm joking. It's called a joke. Jesus Christ. No, you're not. You weren't hired for this gig. Oh, good. You guys got good taste.
No, I was supposed to be out of town.
Oh.
You were the second choice.
Okay.
Nothing's going to put this crowd to sleep faster. If it's not the Meatballs, it's Giannis pontificating on why podcasts have changed the face of humanity. Jesus Christ, Giannis. You guys are on fucking recording yourselves on Sony tape recorders, talking about your dicks. He's acting like they're splitting fucking atoms. Oh, you see, when we got into podcasting, we saw a new frontier. No, but you're right. TV does suck now.
What's up,
How
buddy?
you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Joey Roses, everybody. Give him a round
Yeah.
of applause. Give him a round of
Who the fuck are you? Now I'm going to sit here.
It's talking about adaptability as well. Like you said, open up an amazing sandwich shop that started here, right? It was a pop-up sandwich shop, and now you're down on Rivington Street in the Lower East Side serving some really good sandwiches. The muffaletta, thank you for putting that on finally.
Yeah, no, comedians are entrepreneurs, survivors, for sure. Yeah.
It's and again, talk about brand building 101.
Can I say one more thing?
Please.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to stay shot. The one I do agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. The one thing I will say is the beautiful thing about anything now. I don't think it's just stand up. I think it's almost any sort of stand up is essentially a startup, right? You're going into business for yourself. It's a mom and pop. That's what it is. I think the beauty of everything right now is with all the rotten crap that came along with the internet. The one beautiful thing the internet did is allowed everybody to pursue an entrepreneurial endeavor on their own. It allowed you to monetize what it is you do from your house. You don't need a brick and mortar store anymore. You don't need a comedy club. You don't need anything. You just need to be able to deliver something that people want and put a price tag on it. And that's the great thing. And when Giannis was talking about that, I really agreed, because it was like, it's beautiful now to say to your manager or your agent or a comedy club, no. We didn't have that option before. Yeah. You couldn't say no. You had to do everything, because God forbid you pissed off this guy at this club in Toledo because he owns that club in Virginia, and then that's connected to the place in Florida. And it was a chain of domino. You weren't burning one bridge. You were burning 6. And the fact that now I know if at any moment I don't want to go on the road, for instance, and do a comedy club, the only thing stopping me from saying no is my fans that want to see me. I don't want to let the people go that might come out to the show, because I care about those 6 to 8 people. But do you know what I mean? There's no more of I need to be honoring the person and da-da-da. Because no matter how good of friends you are with any of them, they'll shove you aside the second Chris Rock or Chappelle or whoever, and that's nothing against anybody, says, I want to come in and do shows. They're not going to hesitate to pick up the phone and call you and say, hey, tough shit. I know we had you this weekend. You can't come in anymore. They don't care, because it's a business. And what the internet allowed was for the business to be put into the hands of the individuals. And they don't know what to do now. When I say they, I just mean the industries of all types. They don't know what to do. They're scrambling. So television, for instance, the one thing they can grasp onto is that young kids are woke. If young kids weren't woke, you wouldn't be seeing woke television. If young kids were still into heavy metal and devil shit and biting the heads off of bats, you'd see a lot more of that on television getting exploited right now. But they're not. They're into wokeness. So that's what they're going to exploit until it doesn't make them money anymore. And then they'll exploit something else because they don't know what else to do.
Yeah, they're trying to grab onto something because the eyeballs just aren't there. So I think that if they grab like it's actually a brilliant ploy. It's like, if you want to be a good person, you'll watch this. So it's like, and if you listen to that, coincidentally, the thing that threatens their business model, then you're a bad person.
Yeah, but it's also because this generation coming up is weaker now. They're fucking weak and they're afraid and they're scared. That's really what it is. They're scared. They're told what to do. They're told what to be offended by instead of thinking for themselves. And the networks are bowing to that. You know, watch late night TV now. It's like a joke. They're playing like games and shit. It's like so vanilla. It's kind
of looks like the Jimmy Fallon writer's room is like a kindergarten with crayons, where they're going, how about we smash eggs on each other's?
If you go back and read stuff that was in the papers and entertainment papers, critics and stuff like that, the hip critics. If you go back and read guys like Rex Reed, I don't know if you guys ever read Rex Reed. He's the funniest critic on planet Earth. He fucking hates everything, whatever. He's been around for 40, 50 years doing his thing. If you go back and read all that Rex Reed, the stuff we thought was so brilliant, he's shitting on it in the 70s. That was what everybody was always doing. And the new generation is weak, but we were weaker than the ones before us. And
it keeps getting, yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
But the difference now is you can take control like you couldn't do before.
And you can stay true to your beliefs and what you believe in, and you have the platform now to do it, which is more important. That platform was never really there.
Yeah, because what Joe's saying is that gatekeepers don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
We used to bow to gatekeepers, and now it's like, no.
And it's extreme. It goes so far as like the clubs need to have certain comics there, like because the comics have an audience, and the people want to see those comics. Where it used to be, the reputation of the club was enough because they were the only dance in town or whatever it was. So you wanted to get in the club to be seen and be affiliated with the club brand. Now it's the complete opposite, where the club wants to be in business with you. Yeah. So they're cool.
We would be afraid of a booker that's never done it once. They've never lived in our shoes. They've never got on stage and did stand up once. It would be somebody that was either a fucking waitress at the spot or some fucking older person, whoever. They're just sitting there and we would be afraid, oh, I hope they like me. I hope they're going to see me tonight. I hope they pass me in the club. And it's now looking back, it's like, wow.
And also, too, if I, just to plug the sandwich up, Joey Rose's, Rivington Street. Now, come down. It's a good spot. Full bar. We're open late.
And he still does comedy.
Yeah, and here's the thing. That would have been a death sentence 5 years ago.
Right.
That would have been, you guys were talking about Bob Nelson. By the way, he lives in the Midwest.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I think
Long Island's the Midwest.
I'm not shitting on him. He's born again Christian. He still does comedy. But my point is that would have been a death sentence. People would have been like, you what? You opened a shop? You're done. And now it's like people that I used to be in fear or call me and go, oh my God, that's so cool that you did that, because they see the writing on the wall. They start
Very
seeing
true.
like, you guys don't need us anymore. I've been in pitch meetings where I've said to executives, and you never could say this until now, why do I need you? I don't mean that disrespectfully. Why do I need you? I could go raise the money on my own and shoot this myself. And they're dead. They stop in their tracks. They don't know what to say. But everybody, we're applying it to stand-up and entertainment because that's what we do. Everybody has that ability. You have that ability now with what you guys are doing with Wyoming. You know what I mean? Could you imagine trying to launch a brand like this in the 90s? You think in the 90s, any fucking schmuck in a movie could have had his own tequila? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was like you couldn't do it. You can do it now. You can do it now. It's incredible to me that Ron White has his own tequila company.
Yeah.
It's incredible to me.
There's a lot of tequila in this.
Yeah.
So
Cheers,
I believe
everybody,
this,
salute. Enjoy everything that you're eating.
Yeah.
I believe
This
it's
is
the
yours,
Glen-
right?
The Glen Ruffus 18.
I'll be honest with you guys.
This shit just turned into a full-fledged like Italian buffet.
Yeah, salud. Let me be honest. This is really good.
This is
This is
The Glen
good.
Ruffus 18.
Yeah, no, this is good. Yeah, I'm not lying. You're not paying me, so I would have told
wow,
you.
that is really nice. That is really nice.
This is really good.
That tips down the stairs in the side.
Yeah, that's what you want with a whiskey. You want it to,
Oof.
I call it, you want it tiptoeing down the stairs when it goes down the gullet. You want it no burn. You want it just a nice, smooth. It's almost like you're sneaking downstairs in socks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
this
like
one, this has socks on.
This is nice.
I think that should be our new brand plan. It's got socks on.
It's got socks on when it goes down the stairs.
That's fantastic.
This is really good.
This is nice.
Yeah, you guys got a shot.
And we haven't even started yet. We get some of this in you. Let's see what happens now. I want you to stay on the stage the rest of the night, Joe. You're handsome.
Wait, no, but I'm now I'm really upset. Am I Joe DeRosa's replacement? Was I second choice?
There was 5 comedians listed.
I mean, I would have said no if I'd known that.
You guys were on the original 5.
Okay.
Joe was the first one to say no, and the first one to say he couldn't do it.
You
First one to say I might want to come back, so get rid of Giannis.
I don't know if that's real or not, but it sounds like it may be. But no, it's, again, what you guys do and the way that you guys are able to catapult our brands. This space has become an absolute monster. Paul, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Adele. Thank you for the whole crew at the stand.
Yes.
It's been such an amazing place. And what we're trying to do, not only with our whiskeys, but when people do come here, give them something proper to have when they're enjoying a great show, but put butts in the seats, right? And that's what the Casks Classics has become. There's not many places that have a draw like the 3 of you that will bring fans in to sit at the space. Hospitality has gone through a very rough time, and it's been the flatten the curve for 2 weeks, and here we are 2 years later, and people are still trying to get people to come to our venue. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring people in, and with the program that Paul has developed with his cocktails, the amount of whiskeys that are on that back bar, as well as the amount of talent that he gets to come in through the doors, you 3 and so many other people. It's appreciated. It's appreciated people that sell alcohol that are able to have a platform like this to get our stuff moving, and that's how brands get built.
Yeah, I tell you what, I don't like performing anywhere, and I won't besides here now. Like now that it used to be like Joe was saying, you had to perform in all these places. Now I go into that place and I'm like, I know what you're making. I know how much money you're making. Do a renovation. Do a renovation. This is a big business. You guys are making a lot of money. Change the carpet.
Yeah, it's hard to come in here and see this beautiful atmosphere and eat fucking
This
rice
is-
balls and then go to some shitty dive bar.
Yeah,
Tell dick jokes.
It's like, this is what it should look like. The amount of money comedy makes, this is what a club should look like. It should be beautiful like this.
Yeah.
There should be whiskey. There should be beautiful women who, are serving alcohol.
That's the way it goes.
There should be a West Elm stage. In fact, they should keep this up here right now.
Fun fact: I want to ask. Having been on the Joe Rogan Experience, not being on Cask Classics,
He's getting drunk.
who has
He's
the better
getting more
chance?
time. I want to ask you.
To be honest with you, yes.
I said
He's getting more
Yeah.
fucking. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, let me
now.
ask you a question.
Focus. Let's get real for a second.
Let me
here,
ask you a
okay?
question real
What
quick.
do you fucking motivate you?
How much is it gonna
What
take?
motivates you? All right, give
Let
me
me
another
ask you.
fucking shot, sweetheart.
Let me ask you a question. How much money is it gonna take to get you guys to the Catskills?
Coaches is doing great this time.
I mean,
of year.
how
They
can I
really
get you up
enjoy
to coaches? The funny thing is, Joe Rogan's set is nowhere near as nice as this. So
That's
you
a
guys, yeah.
That's a win.
I mean, it's not.
This is not. It's weird. I like a grimy. I love this club. It's my favorite club in the city, and there's a couple spots I'll play in the city. But these guys, look, I'm partners with Paul. Paul and I own Joey Rose's 174 Rivington Street. But I love this place. But I do also appreciate. I do actually like a grimier. I'm a pig. Look,
Yeah, you're a
I'm
pig.
a creep. I like a nice. You know what I mean? I like a nice, scummy.
Yeah.
We got to bring you up to Westchester, Joe. That's what we need. We got to bring you up north a little bit.
Yeah. I don't. I disagree. I like this place. The Stand. This is what it should look like. These guys did an
No,
incredible
hand
job.
Joey Roses like a drink in a grimy little
Oh,
dive
yeah.
bar. He's in his element.
Yeah. Yeah. Because this is the difference between me and Joe. When this place closes, if I'm drinking, I'm going home. Joey's going, okay, let's go find a dive bar and keep it going. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that.
It's not that far of a trip anymore, too. What was the address of Joey Rose's?
174 Rivington Street. Apparently, tonight we're open till midnight. But if enough of you come, we'll stay open late.
What's the whiskey you're serving over
If
there?
any of you show up there after eating like this, you're a fat piece of shit. You understand me?
Eating like what? They had 2 meatballs each. People are about to fall over from emaciation. Come down. We got sandwiches.
There's bread. There's substance down there.
With that, I guess it's time to wrap this one up. But greatly appreciate
This
you
was
guys
fun.
coming on.
Yeah.
Really, really enjoyed chatting with you guys. Went off the rails a little bit with the history, but we got it going. But what do you guys do? What do you guys do to build your own brand? I'm a subscriber to both of your podcasts, everything that you've done. Big fans, but hopefully nothing but success for you guys and continue.
Thank
to
you.
grow.
And to you guys.
Likewise, and to
Yeah,
you guys,
to you
guys. And thank you for
Continued
sitting
success.
through this,
Yeah.
guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you guys very much. I believe we do have some more food coming on out. We still have some drinks coming on out. There's some. We do have some show for you guys if you want to hang around, if you need to use the restroom, whatever you need to do. But hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for coming out.